Van een winnetje hoosje hier, waar Faic cluiche Morton FC, Laura Darroch gur bal cosche a son.
So joined Port Glasgow Juniors Boys Academy when I was 9. My dad took me up, and then I think when I was 15 we amalgamated to become Morton. So that was Leanne McPhail and Gary that started that off. And then throughout the years we just progressed, and now we obviously are playing competitively in the championship. I've always been quite competitive and into all different sports, but I tried a few as I was growing up, and football just always seemed to be the one that stuck. I've got 2 sisters and a brother, and my 2 sisters are dancers. It seemed to be me and my brother that just picked up with the football, and that was our favourite.
Laura go lua a tors taing don hoiersnoch a chrúi clubbe le arinach go sóriger som borniches clanían a yemme chloik ag a hula ire.
Yes, since I've been here since the start, there's a few girls that have also been here since the start, so it's been nice to develop with them throughout the years and grow older together and create strong friendships and bonds that have lasted out with football and during football as well.
We were driven by the community, and we were one of the first. Ourselves in Port Glasgow Juniors were the first in Inverclyde to have the girls' pathway, so it was driven by the numbers and the expectation in girls' football as that started to lift. We went into the COVID break with 40 girls on our pathway. We're now sitting at just over 100 girls on our pathway, so it's rather strange. You would think the break would see girls fall away from football, but we are seeing the complete opposite. We had a waiting list coming into the new season. Our pathway started back tonight, and with a waiting list going into that, which we've now cleared and got all the girls involved in football.
For aunge maat dulig Laura Nuri. Nur a rui stiach go triplech an ACL, gírach nur a bal coshin and ban an an ALBA, go we Faic in achrich an eentje noch an structure in the league.
So it was a game in April 2022 against Edinburgh City, and I was running back to defend, and my right foot planted and got stuck in the astro as my left foot was trying to get the ball. And as a result I ruptured my ACL and tore my meniscus. I thought the next day it would be okay and I would heal and it would be fine, and just continued to go about daily life as a PE teacher. And then I was joining in with the kids, and I twisted and my knee buckled again. So after that I went up to the hospital, and Colin arranged an appointment with the physio, where we quite quickly realised that there was further damage and that I was going to require surgery. I didn't really think about it much at the time. I just kind of took it each day at a time, and because the season was coming to an end as well, I think it made it a wee bit easier. The most difficult part obviously was when the girls were going through pre-season and looking forward to that new league, and the new league had just been created as well, and I didn't really feel involved with all the setup of it. Even though I was there and I was watching training and I was at every game on the Sundays, it was kind of as if I was an outsider just looking in, as opposed to being on the park and playing and making a contribution.
But alana ho lua ag Laura le taich von gootje ayes a clubbe. Vai kommasach current privet gain, and you shoy a rasher fetch tornus loya.
Since the day it's happened, I've had so many messages from everybody, but in particular I've had Colin there, who arranged everything with Ross Hall, got me in for the surgery, and then even out with the club I've had Alison Fielding. She was my physio. She worked really closely with me for the first 5 weeks after my surgery took place, and then eventually helped me in the coming months to getting back on the pitch. Obviously I spent a few weeks just in the gym doing a lot of band work, trying to get my range of movement again, straightening my leg, bending my leg, and kind of putting weight on it in different ways and different angles. So then when I got the go ahead that I was able to join back in training, once again I was supported by Colin and the coaches, because they adapted the training to make it suit me. So for example, we would do like a lot of passing, short passing instead of like possession boxes and drills like that, so that I could be really involved with the team. It was a great feeling to come back into it, and the girls all made me feel welcome, and it was as if I'd never been away.
Laura Darroch go droch eich go earnen go bí a ghoirteachadh go ríist. Ach nur is múnige si mi héin, hai caineach cútne príomh fúngin von doctorin.
It's weird in training. I sometimes overthink things a wee bit more than I do in games. I feel like, especially Sunday there, I was so involved in the game that I didn't really think about it, and I felt like I used my body stuff a wee bit more than I have been. I've been a wee bit tentative in training and in the previous games, but I feel like week on week my confidence will just grow, and eventually hopefully it'll be at the back of my mind. Obviously re-rupture is always in my head, but I spoke to the surgeon Gordon Mackay about that, and he said that he had introduced so he obviously created the internal brace, which is different to the reconstruction 10 years ago. He had put forward that there'll be less chance of me re-rupturing because they put in a different wee like fibre rope that they hadn't done for the first 5 years, and that's why the re-rupture rate was quite high as opposed to in recent years where the re-rupture rates went down. So I always have that in my mind and know that he obviously knows what he's talking about.
Inis, ha Laura gamas mórta na chuideach san líg. Son tain go háir an clubbar son an taich go húgad dhí. Agus ha coacha Colin McCachnie an dóid golan an tualaithe searbhan nuaí aine rais.
The target for me was always to be up challenging. Unfortunately, we've not had a great start to the season. It's been very inconsistent. That's more to do with the level we're playing against week in, week out. But there's still 16 games to go. There's no reason why we can't be in the top 4, getting into the split in the second half of the season. And that'll always remain the target. But next season is the big one for us because we're a new side in terms of first team. We're a very young side. So as long as we can stabilise this year, then next season's a massive year for us.
Ha Laura Jeshua Nish glúas at the rard leis an tríoch bá cóiseiche. Ach cha diach na hí riamh a húne amach tra lán. Agus ha son dúne eile san nún suiachug a bhí dóchasach.
I would say just persevere with it. At first it'll be difficult and there'll be some days where you're lonely and you're thinking to yourself that you're going backwards and you're never going to get to where you were before, but I feel like everything's just happens in time. It's a process and you just need to go through the emotions and let yourself feel that way, and eventually you will get back to where you're supposed to be.